Hello and welcome to another Adverity Platform guide. In this video, we'll show you how to schedule regular automated data fetches. After creating a data stream, you can schedule data fetches to regularly and automatically fetch data and store it in Adverity or transfer it to your destination of choice. To do this, first go to the data streams page and click the data stream you want to schedule data fetches for. In this example, we're using our Google Ads data stream. In the top left of the screen, you'll see the scheduling toggle. When this is disabled, data will only be collected when you manually start a fetch by clicking Fetch Now. Let's go ahead and enable, and we'll click Schedule Fetch to set up a new schedule. Now we can configure our scheduled fetch. First, set the frequency. By default, this is set to every day. You can schedule more frequent data fetches, however, it isn't recommended to schedule them more than once a day. This is especially true if you have a lot of data streams. If they're all scheduled to fetch data every 15 or 30 minutes, this will have a big impact on performance and you are likely to experience slow data fetches. Next, we need to choose the time of day that we want the fetch to run. Times are in UTC or Coordinated Universal Time. So, if you're in the US on Eastern Time, that is 4 hours behind UTC. If you're on Pacific Time, that is 7 hours behind UTC. You can also set your fetches to run once a week, in which case you can set the weekday, or once a month, in which case you can set the specific day, or once a quarter, in which case the fetch will run on the first day of that quarter. In this case, we're going to set it to fetch once a day, and let's say we are in New York. So we're going to schedule this at 5 AM UTC, which is 1 AM EST, and that means we'll have our fresh data waiting for us when we arrive at work in the morning. Next, we need to choose the time range that we want to fetch data for. For example, you can set a data fetch to collect today's data, yesterday's data, this week's, and so on. It's important to make sure that the time range matches up with the frequency of your data fetches. For example, if you are fetching data once a week, it would make sense to collect last week's data each time. In this example, we're fetching data once a day, so we're going to set it to always collect yesterday's data. Again, we've set our data fetches to run at 5 AM UTC, which is 1 AM EST. So we've made sure that each time we are actually collecting yesterday's data according to Eastern Standard Time. Lastly, you can also set the offset to execution time. This setting specifies the number of days with which Adverity shifts the scheduled date. A positive value shifts the scheduled date to an earlier date. A negative value shifts the scheduled date to a later date. This is particularly useful when working across time zones and you need to make sure you have captured the correct data. However, for now, we do not need to adjust this setting, so we'll leave this at 0 and hit Apply to set up our schedule. Now that is set up, you can see information on when your next fetch is scheduled. You can adjust the settings on your schedule at any time by clicking Edit. So there you go. That's how you set up scheduled data fetches in Adverity. For more information on scheduling, please check out the Adverity documentation.